Please request the mobiles to be switched off. Put in silent mode, please. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Vidyamandir Trust, Palanpur, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you. In particular, I want to welcome Pranav and his family, who has travelled a long way to be with us today. Thank you, Pranav. Before Russell and Rajiv take this ceremony forward, I am going to give you a brief background of Vidyamandir Trust. Palanpuris are well known for their involvement in the diamond trade. However, despite the fact that its businesses have expanded globally, the community has never lost its root and always made a conscious effort to give back to Palanpur. Vidyamandir is a prime example of this, where the love and affection of the community is channeled into creating a world-class educational institution. The Vidyamandir Trust has always tried to be ahead of time. In 1951, the Trust was set up as a secular, gender-equal institution, something that was not the norm in post-independence India. Today, this is something that is embodied into our philosophy. We strive to provide an education that is both progressive and commensurate with the times. But truly what distinguishes Vidyamandir is its focus on holistic education. It strives to inculcate the values of right learning and right culture with an emphasis on the development of child's personality through exposure to arts, music, sports and other non-academic disciplines. Today, the activities of the Trust are spread over 14 campuses, encompass 136 institutions, and bring together over 6,000 children from varied backgrounds and with different needs. We have a staff of over 400 people. The activities of Vidyamandir today span over largely 4 areas. First, Vidyamandir runs both Gujarati and English medium schools. The Trust's 5 Bal Mandirs are often considered to be the pride of Vidyamandir, and it is here that the foundations of learning are laid. The middle, secondary and higher secondary schools are designed to focus on providing quality education and yet remain firmly committed to our original principles and values of child-centric, broad-based education. Second, Mamta Mandir. This is our institution for the handicapped, and it is one that I think distinguishes us from other educational organizations. Over time, Mamta Mandir has grown to address the needs of differently abled, like the visually impaired, hearing and speech impaired, and physically and mentally challenged. We use contemporary teaching methods, incorporating the latest technological aids that facilitate learning and maximize children's potential. The standout aspect of this institution is that several Mamta Mandir students study with all other Vidyamandir students. Vidyamandir was one of the first institutions that introduced the integrated educational system, which is now being propagated strongly by all educationalists. The Trust also runs hostels for over 300 differently abled students. Schooling and boarding for these students is free. Third, the colleges for teachers training. We firmly believe that the strength of any institution is determined by the quality of its teaching staff. This is why Trust runs these colleges not just to train teachers for regular school, but also for the handicapped. This not only ensures well-qualified input into Vidyamandir institutions, but also assists other schools across the state. Last, the Trust is trying to recognize the wider educational needs of Banaskantha district and has an active village extension program that reaches out to over 10,000 students in 71 schools. We run mobile laboratory and library and also run regular programs for teacher training colleges teachers training in these schools. Thus, we are trying to expand our work beyond the campus, and hopefully we can keep expanding the program. As a result of Vidyamandir's balance between academic and non-academic education and progressive and value-based education, it has been able to prepare its students for life. Today, this has flourished into an extremely strong alum community, which continues to bring glory to the institution through their outstanding accomplishments. One such example is Pranav, who we are delighted to have with us today. To conclude, I believe that the success of the institution has been on the basis of a progressive vision, innovative ideas, committed staff, and very importantly, an active community. Standing here, I sincerely hope that we are able to retain these core tenets and grow as an institution going forward. Thank you. This is the inaugural program of the external speakers talk vertical of the Inspiration series. The facilitator for this program is Russell Mehta. May I please invite him to explain to us this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish bhai. Pranav bhai and friends, namaskar and a very warm welcome to you all. As you may know, Palanpur has been associated with diamond industry, and most of us have been engaged in the diamond trade for over past 50 years. While we have been hugely successful as a community in business for many decades, we have seen some challenges over the past 5-7 years. Owing to these recent volatilities and challenges, we have been internally debating as a community about these challenges to our trade and how does one approach it based on our own experiences. In such discussions, we felt that it will be a good idea to learn and get inspired on how one can overcome these challenges, professional and personal, from the life journey and experiences of other successful and accomplished leaders outside of our trade. It is my privilege to facilitate such talks under the Inspiration series. To kickstart this initiative, we are very fortunate to have amongst us as our first key speaker, Palanpur's most acclaimed son, Pranav. We are truly privileged to have him amongst us today to share with us his life experiences and his innovations to inspire all of us. I shall now request Rajiv Mehta, Chairman of Vidyamandir Trust, Palanpur, to introduce today's speaker, our own Pranav Mistry. Thank you.
Ladies, gentlemen, and future innovators. It is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you all today at Palanpur Samaj Kendra and Palanpur Online's first speaker event, part of the Inspirational series. Today's event is very special. Not only is this the first speaker event, but it is also an honor for us to felicitate and hear from Mr. Pranav Mistry, a Palanpuri, who did his schooling at Vidyamandir. Born in 1981, Mr. Mistry is passionate about integrating the world of information with real-world interactions. He is best known for inventing the sixth sense, a wearable gestural interface that augments the physical world around us with digital information and lets us use natural hand gestures to interact with that information. Apart from that, he has also worked on a number of other innovative tech projects. These include intelligent sticky notes that can be searched and located and send reminders and messages, a pen that can draw in 3D, a public map that can act as Google of the physical world, and an invisible computer mouse. Currently, he is the head of the think tank team and director of research of Samsung Research America, a Silicon Valley-based, wholly owned subsidiary of Samsung engaged in researching emerging technologies. In 2013, Mr. Mistry unveiled the company's latest product, the Samsung Galaxy Gear Watch, at a leading international event in Berlin. His academic achievements include a bachelor's degree in computer science and engineering from the Nirma Institute of Technology in Gujarat, a master's degree in media arts and sciences from MIT, and masters of design from Industrial Design Center, IIT Mumbai. Oh, and by the way, he was also at an architectural school prior to that. Most recently, he was a research assistant and a PhD candidate at MIT Media Labs. His spheres of work have taken him to the brightest of companies such as Microsoft, Google, Carnegie Mellon University, NASA, UNESCO, and Japan Science and Technology. Mr. Mistry calls himself a designer and makes mention that his work is to come up with new innovative ideas which, apart from many till date, include the sixth sense, for which he was awarded the 2009 Invention Award by Popular Science magazine. He was also named to the MIT Technology Review as one of the top 35 innovators in the world under the age of 35. In 2010, he was named to Creativity Magazine's Creativity 50 as one of the most influential and inspiring creative personalities of 2010. In the same year, he was the winner of the Net Explorators of the Year 2010 award at the Grand Prix in France. At that time, Mr. Mistry had been described as one of the 10 best innovators in the world right now by Chris Anderson, curator of the famous TED Talks. We'll need some more of that because there's a lot more coming. In 2011, Mr. Mistry has been listed as one of the 15 Asian scientists to watch by Asian Scientist magazine. Further, he was listed as one of the 37 Indians of tomorrow by India Today, and more recently, and I think this one deserves your loudest applause, he was honored as a Young Global Leader 2013 by World Economic Forum. After all of this, I'm also pleased to say that he's a human being. He also has interests like you and me, which, apart from what he does in the time that he works, which is really interests in social computing, designing intelligence, artificial intelligence, robotics, design and human-computer interfacing, more. No. He also loves being with his family, who we are very lucky to have here with us today. He loves his photography, he loves his table tennis, he loves his music, mountaineering, and I was told milk powder. So yes, he's very much like us. He's just doing very, very innovative things. Before we meet the man himself, I would like to present to you a short video of Mr. Mistry tracking his journey from Palanpur till date.
Not too far away in northern Gujarat lies a small town called Palanpur that is known to harbour an educational institution known as Vidyamandir, a school with a difference. Vidyamandir strongly believes that the character of the nation depends on the quality of education provided to growing minds. As a result, it has been producing some of the youngest and brightest minds of all time. This time, the school has birthed yet another young genius, a prodigy in the truest sense, none other than Palanpur's endeared Pranav Mistry. Born into a middle-class family in Palanpur, Gujarat, Pranav Mistry was taught early on that life is all about learning and being innovative. As a child, young Pranav built electric cars and remote-controlled airplanes, and more importantly, he wrote his first computer programming code at the age of 9. It was easy for those at Vidyamandir, both teachers and students alike, to see that Mistry was set to make his mark as the next prolific whiz-kid. Mistry's interests lay in exploring the digital landscape, but it was always the physical world that enticed him the most. After excelling at IIT Mumbai, he moved to MIT Media Lab, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where he also worked as a research assistant. Post his Masters of Sciences and his PhD, he went on to become the head of the think tank team and later the director of research at Samsung Research America. From engineering in computer science to a master's degree in design, Pranav has worked in several fields like robotics, computer graphics, and more. When it comes to his creations, he follows two basic principles: to make technology universally accessible and to make them easy to use. Some of his best inventions have garnered worldwide attention. Needless to say, Sixth Sense, a wearable device that turns any surface into a touch screen, is his biggest accomplishment yet, one that he unveiled at TED 2009 in California, USA. His other inventions include Quickies, Mouseless, Blinkbot, and many more. People have often misjudged him on the basis of his talent alone, because Pranav Mistry is a funny, happy-go-lucky man who was in fact the ping-pong champion in his student years. He's someone who's fond of cricket, football and clay modeling, a man who enjoys life, a huge A.R. Rahman fan, and someone who surprisingly spends minimal time in front of the computer. He's our very own Marvel man, a living legend, and most of all, a Gen Next designer. So believe, inspire, and get inspired by this champion. Because a pure hero is born only so often, and there is one amongst us right now, Stardust, in human form. Ladies and gentlemen, Pranav Mistry.
So, can we have a standing applause for Pranav, please? This is a real momentous time for us. We would like to felicitate Pranav, and in order to do that, we would like to have the Nawab Sahib come on stage. Nawab Sahib of Palanpur. I'd also want Pranav's wife, who is here with us today, Vichya, if you could join us, please. Pranav's parents, Kirti Bhai and Naina Ben, if you could kindly join us on stage, please. Satrughn, Arun Bhai, Chairman of Palanpur Samaj Kendra, Ashish Bhai, and Hasmukh Bhai, who has joined us here today. Hasmukh Bhai is the director of Vidyamandir in Palanpur. The plaque says, and I'm just going to read it out for our audience, Vidyamandir Trust Palanpur celebrates the memorable journey of its alumnus, Pranav Mistry, innovator, inventor and creator of next generation digital technology success. Pranav, the floor is all yours.
I cannot describe how happy I am today to see all of you and again back. I feel like that I'm not in Mumbai, I'm in Palanpur in some sense. Vidyamandir. Give me 2 minutes because I am so emotional right now that I cannot. Sri Vividalaksmi Vidyamandir Name Sarjanhara. Ame Deepa ki Deepa Jalavine so Jagannatham Harnara. I think also has said the same sentence in a different way that you don't drop darkness. You just bring light in. And darkness will be nowhere found. And Vidyamandir taught that us from very beginning. I was born in Palanpur in 1981. But in last 30 years of my life, I traveled many places. I lived in many countries, different parts of different continents. And many people ask me that if you were about to born again, the next life, where you would love to be born? I give an answer to them that I want to born this place in North Gujarat or Palanpur. And the only reason I want to be born again there is this school, the Vidyamandir. I want to be again go to the same teachers that taught me the way of life. I want to be born in the same family that gave me so much freedom at the same time, the environment that grew me what I am today. And I think the memories of those days, I spent most of my life, almost 2/3 of my life in Palanpur. From kindergarten, from Shisu Sala, Vidyamandir. All of my education was done in Vidyamandir, in Palanpur. Can I have a little bit light down in this case? Vidyamandir was the stepping stone of my life. After that, I did a lot of other education. I went to architecture school, went to Gujarat University, New Institute of Technology. I learned design at IIT Bombay. I went to JST Yato, Japan Science and Technology. But still, the learning that happened at Vidyamandir is nowhere comparable to what I learned or what I applied in these places. And I'm not just saying that, because I will show you why it's important, why it was the Vidyamandir which was the stepping stone of my life. Carl Sagan has said a very nice way that if you want to make an apple pie from scratch, you must reinvent the universe, because you cannot make everything from scratch in some sense. This word invent is very tricky. A lot of people ask me how to be an inventor, how to invent, what is the formula of invention? Can we also be innovator by following some rules, regulations? Is there a book that I can read and become an innovator? So many people ask me, what is invent? Or how to invent? How do we invent? There are many ways. You might sometimes see accidents like an apple fall and you can invent gravity in some cases. It sometimes happens in need or necessity and people find something interesting. Sometimes it's solving your own problem. I have this problem and I need to solve myself. So that's why you invent. You get inspiration from somewhere, inspiration from each other, inspiration from nature. You see a bird flying, then you design an aeroplane out of that. There's also vision, long-term vision, or there might be multiple ways of doing that. But for me, it was something else. For me, it was the word magic. I don't know why from very childhood, when I was a kid, even in Palanpur, I was very fascinated about magic. In Palampur those days, even the magician used to come to bring their shows, if you remember. And I was fascinated, how can we do this thing? How can we bring technology that can make that magic happen in real life? And that's how I wanted to do it. If I show you very early magic, so many of you might not aware of that, but this magic was done by John Pepper in 18th century. Almost 200 years before, he was making people invisible on stage. How he was doing that? He was using a 45-degree angle mirror that was reflecting light. The person was actually on the ground floor or in the bottom part of this particular stage, and he was reflecting the light. And to our clear surprise, if I tell you that this is the same technology, 200 years before technology that we are using in one of the latest inventions of this year, let's say Google Glass. Exactly same technology we are using right away. So I was very fascinated with magic, not in just terms of the stage magic, but I wanted to bring that magic to real life, everyday products. And that's what fascinated me from very long. And Arthur Clarke has captured that very nicely, saying that any sufficiently advanced technology should feel like magic. And I was just talking to someone right now here. He said that technology for me feels like so magic, and that's what I was saying, that yes, technology should feel like magic, and that's what I dream for. So, when we say technology, to the common person or anyone, what comes to our mind right now is this: laptops, tablets, smartphones. That is what technology is all about. And many people think that technology is, information technology is 30, 40 or 50-year-old field. For last 30 years we are having all this digital technologies around us. I would say no. If you say tablet, if I ask you when the tablet started, 4 or 5 years before, we can say we had iPads and the Samsung tablets nowadays. I would say no. Tablets were there even in 5500 BCE. A clay tablet. That time people used to write on those clay tablets early languages, and people used to pass to one century to another century. Same kind of information technology was there, just some kilometers away from here. Ajanta, Ellora, if you go to the caves, you will see paintings. That was information technology, because that was telling how people used to live at that time. It was passing information, and a particular kind of technology. Same thing, if you go to China, I was visiting China recently, if you see sculptures, centuries old sculptures are telling us about how the people in that generation used to live like. What is happening over here, that slowly we are moving away from one medium of technology to another medium of technology. It becomes papers. In 1450, the first Bible was printed. German engineer Gutenberg invented printing press, so you can have multiple copies of the Bible and the spread of the Christianity become famous. Why I am telling you all this tip? Because technology, information technology is centuries old field. Just digital information technology is its current home. And that's what happened. We came radios, then the television came. Personal computers started coming. Computer becomes smaller and smaller, the laptops then become so small that we can put it inside our pockets. After that, the next generation, this year's technology started coming. Wearable devices that you wear in your hand or wear in your glasses. What I am saying that the 50 years of that digital information technology time is somehow ending now. We are right now on this urge where the information is going to change its home again. It was painting, sculptures, paper, digital. But what is next? What is the next big wave of the technology that can provide information? That's what I was interested in. And that's where I wanted to do magic. So I started doing explorations on that. But before showing those explorations, I want to very briefly tell about something else. Several years before, થોડા વર્ષો પહેલા આપણે ઘડિયાળ લેવા જઈએ, રાઈટ? આપણે કોઈ માર્કેટમાંથી દુકાનમાં ઘડિયાળ લેવા જઈએ. Let's say 70 years before, we go buy a watch in store. We were asking how accurate my watch is, right? The question people were not asking that what company is there or something. Is it second 100 accurate or is it second 1000 accurate? Slowly, the technology of the watch stopped mentioning. People don't mention about how accurate the watch is because by default, every watch is accurate. People started talking about that your watch is accurate than that. This is the old advertisements of watches. Wafer thin, my watch is very thin. Also, people started talking about, oh, this is particular ultimate wrist band. There's a nice band in this one. People started making computer inside the watches in early days in Omegas. Or even Einstein is wearing this watch. That's why you should wear this watch. No one is talking about how accurate the watch is. People putting diamonds inside the watch and say, oh, it's now watch with the diamond. What is happening over here? In the years, we started moving away from the functionality, the technology of the watch, to something else, and that is human aspects. Similar thing happens in every industry. So that's why I say that every industry at its maturity looks for the human touch. And very simple example. Today, all of you are going to buy a computer. You are not asking what is the processor, memory of that computer. But 5 years before you were asking that question. 5 years before you were asking that, what is the RAM of this computer? Or how fast is my processor inside, CPU and those kind of words. Now we are asking how thin it is, how lightweight it is. Is it an Apple or is it a Samsung? Is it Android or, right? We are asking what is the camera size, I can take bigger pictures. So I was in search of that human aspects for computers. I wanted to make computer used by everyone in the world, not by very few 2% of the world population. But even a layman person or even farmer in India can take advantage of the technology. That was my dream. So I started my exploration. And I will show you today some of those explorations. Very beginning, computer mouse and keyboard used to look like that. This is several years before. Computer mouse used to have inside a ball, roller ball. I took apart this kind of computer mouse, 2 of them, and made something out of that, this device. I was going in IIT Bombay, a competition, 13 years before, exactly same day almost. I went to IIT Bombay wearing this thing on my hand, competing against a lot of other students around India. What was this device was doing? That it was letting me do gesture. Today we are talking about gesture computing. A lot of people are doing gesture in front of their Kinects and computer games or video games. 13 years before I invented this gesture computing device that was letting me capture whatever I do in real world to the virtual world. What happened that when I was presenting this, I was a student that time, a gentleman came there and started talking to me. This gentleman was none other than President I never imagined in my life that I will meet APJ Abdul Kalam like face to face. That's a different story. But he stands there 30 minutes and discussing with me, oh, how can we apply that into Bhabha Atomic Research Center, or what this technology can do in future, oh, how did you do this particular part? And that particular day, a thought came into mind that future begins today. Not tomorrow, future begins right away, this particular place. And all that learning that happened in Vidyamandir, the art, the design, the presenting power, the science and technology, I was able to convince people that this is the future of magic, this is the gesture computing, that after 13 years, after people will be talking about. I didn't stop there. I keep going on and on. And one of the biggest challenges of Indian community about computing was language. People were not able to use computers because they don't know English. It's not that they are computer illiterate, just they are English illiterate in some sense. So I started working a project called Aksar. I was the first person who invented Indian language input in any mobile device. So you can type in Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, everything. I will tell you one incident what happened. One time I was studying in Mumbai that time. I was standing in Borivali local train platform. A person standing next to me, he shows me his mobile phone, like a feature phone, the old phone. And he's showing me, now we can type in Marathi. I didn't tell him that person behind making this happen is me. But the happiness that I get that moment, that's what I was waiting for. That's what the meaning of this technology. Enabling 1 billion Indians writing in their own language, the mother tongue. That's what the powers of the technology should be. So I was very fascinated by this approach of bringing technology to next level. Another simple and fun equation happened when my sister Sweta and me always used to fight for remote. And I think it's very common. In Palanpur, we used to always fight for who is going to watch what. She always want to watch something like cartoon channel, or I want to watch cricket or some games. And this problem was always in my mind. How can I solve this problem? Because she want to watch something and I want to watch something, and we cannot buy 2 TVs at that time. I thought we can divide the screen into 2 parts. Right? You watch this side, I watch this side. But then it's not good because half of the cricket game is cut there. So this problem was always in my mind. When I went to MIT, at that time, I was keep studying about this problem. I had this problem in mind from my childhood. I said, somehow I really want to solve this problem even whenever it's possible happen. So I invented a method in MIT. I patented this technology, and actually right now many of you must be using this technology in your home. If you have a 3D TV, if you are watching 3D TV, so multiple people, up to 5 people can watch 5 different TV channels at the same time on the same TV.
Wow.
And that was the technology, we call it third eye. The use of the same technology is, many of you right now have Samsung or Sony TV which is watching a 3D, you have a 3D glass with that. It's the same technology, and this patented by my name, and they are using that patent. Thank you. I keep going on and on. I wanted to make paper computing interface, because I don't think that everyone in India should learn keyboard and mouse and computer or monitor. I said, why can we not paper as a computer instance? You can write on a paper saying 2:30 I have this meeting, or this is my to-do list for the day, and computer automatically understands, because there is an artificial intelligence inside computer that understands what you are writing, what is the meaning of that thing, and it actually does that thing. It also finds that this book is in second rack of your office. Sometimes you lose something, you can just put a sticky note and write down that this is Patty's book or someone's book, and later you can search them. So using paper as a computing interface, that's what I was doing. I keep working on and on, made this pen that can draw in 3 dimensions. Why? Because most of my family, my dad, my uncle, my sister, everyone comes from architecture background. Even I was in architecture school. I always used to dream that pen always draw in paper. You can take a paper and you can draw on paper. But why can we not draw in 3 dimensions? So I made this project where you can actually dip the pen in air and you can really draw in 3 dimensions. You can draw windows or doors and you can dip back. So this was showing in my laptop that I was able to even draw a particular contour, pull it out, push it in. I keep doing this kind of exploration. Made a public map. Many of you might have seen Microsoft Surface Table. In 2005, Microsoft launched Microsoft Surface Table. In 2004, I made this table, which was not a product, but which was an academic research. A public touch table where you can put any physical objects. If you want to find a coffee store, or if you want to find a metro station, you just put a coffee cup or metro card on top of that, and it shows you where is the next coffee you can find. explosion keeps going on and on. And I think this, many of you know Xbox. Kids must be playing Xbox in your game at home. And Xbox has that now a camera, 3-dimensional camera. A camera that cannot take picture in as a 2-dimensional, but it can capture the whole world. 3-dimensional effect of the whole what is in front of you. The 3-dimensional camera, the Kinect that we know, this what you're seeing over here is actually Kinect camera. It's the same Kinect camera when I was working in Microsoft. So this was the first early version of the prototype of the Kinect camera that I was working. And many of you are now able to use that in your Xbox. The application that I made was a little bit more relevant to me in Palanpur in some cases. Anyone is guessing what is that? In Palanpur, some areas of Palanpur if you go, they have potter's wheel. They rotate this wheel. Potters rotate that wheel. Chakra, you can say. You put some clay and you make pot out of that. I thought, why can we not make virtual pot the same way? You rotate this wheel, you put some virtual clay, and with your hand, you mold this thing the same way that you do. And that's what I was doing with this Kinect camera in early days. It was keep going on, and I went to Japan for some time. I went to Japan to work with Japanese government. At that time, Japanese government invited me specifically to work on robotics. And the problem they gave me that robots are coming. In future, Japan will have a lot of robots because there are a lot of robots we already invented. But we don't know how to communicate with robots in some cases. And specifically, we want to solve problems with the people with the accessibility issues. People who cannot move their hands, people who are old. Because many of the computer or any kind of thing, you need your hand. Keyboard, mouse, gesture, touch, you're still using your hand. Can you help us solve those problems? So I made this fun project. The video is fun, but the actual application of that was for old people or people who cannot move their body parts, other body parts. And I'll show you. So that was Dreambot. Video was fun, but the application of that thing we were applying for people with accessibility issues. And this was just a first prototype of it. I keep working on. And from very beginning I love computer mouse. Computer mouse was invented 1963, almost so many years before, 50, 60 years before. And I always feel bad that so many years after we're still using computer mouse. We have touch screen and gestures and everything. Why can computer mouse not go away? So I thought computer mouse can become invisible. We can still have mouse with functionality, same way we use left click, right click. So I made this project I call mouseless. So what you're seeing over here, or maybe what you are not seeing, is a computer mouse in some cases. You put your hand next to any computer or any keyboard and start using as a mouse. So you are doing left click, right click, and everything works as it is, that as you are doing in a computer mouse. You might ask, how? How is it going to happen? What I did is I put a small laser in part of the laptop itself or keyboard itself. That laser is making a layer, one plane, and when you put your hand on the table, you are breaking that layer. So now you can actually see what particular finger is which part, and you can make a computer mouse out of it. A company called Fujitsu, a Japanese company which makes laptops and other devices, in this year end, they are planning to launch their laptops using this particular technology. So the patented technology they are planning to use in their next version of the laptops. It kept going on, and as I mentioned that I wanted to make computer interfaces better. Right? I tried a lot of methods, by paper, by making them invisible, or doing some different approaches. A lot of projects, a lot of patterns. But at the same time, I was keep thinking that I want to do something more. This is not the right way, because I'm just improving what is there. I said that if you are interested in that information, what is behind our computer in some case, the emails, the Facebook, and the Twitter, and all this data, why can we not have that data painted around us everywhere? And very next moment, I said I can do that. If I put a projector, a light emitting device on my head in some cases, the information will be everywhere, wherever I see. If I see a person, it will be on this person. If I see a wall, it will be in a wall. And that's what happened. I was going to any wall, let's say this wall, and this wall became my computer in some sense. The very next moment I wanted to interact with that computer, so I found it back that 13 years before, I was doing gesture computer in IIT Bombay. Why can I not use that by putting a camera? So a friend of mine, she's actually drawing on any wall now. It keeps going on, becomes smaller and smaller. The size becomes a cap size, later become a pendant, and even later become a button, like a clippable button that I will show you later. What happens that this particular device was changing the way we look at computers or smartphones in some case. And I will show you one demo video of that, which was taken in 2009 end. So I'm going to any wall. I made a gesture of namaste, or you can say Pranav, to start the computer, because that's what the culture I grew up in. So I can now start using any wall as a computer interface. The camera part of the device is recognizing what I'm doing in front of with my hand. So now I can draw on any wall, the same way that you do with any computer, now touchscreen computer or smartphones. You can zoom in or zoom out of a map, because not only one finger, you can detect all of the 10 fingers, so you can pinch something. In real life, you take something and make it bigger, make it smaller. Not only that, you can do all sorts of computing, like checking your email, browsing internet. But now, the real power of this device started coming. Many of you, when you go take picture, I don't need a camera, because I can now just do the gesture of taking picture, and it takes a picture. Right? And later, when I want to see my pictures, I just go to any wall and start browsing those pictures. Not only that, because now technology is invisible. Pixels are invisible, it can go anywhere. So it can go in your hand to dial your phone numbers. Right? You don't need a smartphone, a screen, in order to dial a number. You can use your palm. If I go to a supermarket or some store, I pick up a product and say, I want to know more about this product. Is it a green product or not green product in some cases? So even in a bookstore, what happens that when you go to a bookstore, you want to know the rating, Amazon rating, how other people like this book. I can find that in book on top of the book itself. So you are able to get dynamic data. If you go to bookstore and you want to say audio reviews of this book, so I'm hearing the audio reviews of this book. Not only that, a newspaper cannot show picture but can show videos. Why not? We love newspaper because it's very handy. You can put with you. You can put some food inside sometime. We carry with us all the time. But we are going away from that because newspaper was not showing you the live data. Or if I'm going to my flight, it tells me, my boarding pass directly tells me that my flight has been changed or gate delayed or something, whatever. The new default updates on it. I was meeting some person. So it was telling me that, oh, this person likes this thing. He's a student in MIT. So I can talk in nice way. I know it. I don't make a mistake. In Boston, where I was living, the metro system, I was playing Pong game, and then this is, I think, the world's thinnest watch. There is no thickness. Zero. I going on and on. So what I did, you know microphone. So this is the microphone, or even I'm wearing a microphone right now. I clip that microphone on a piece of a paper, just blank paper. And when you do that, now you can start making a piece of paper a tablet computer. And that's what I did. So you can see that all the things you do on your iPad or your Samsung tablets, you can do on a piece of the paper. Even I was playing the same video game that you play with your tablets. What was happening that we are very used to browsing and computers and stuff like that. So I said, okay, tablet computer, you can do browsing and stuff. But now you can again do magic. You can take from that paper tablet, whatever you are working on, and put it in another computer because you want to carry on working on that. You are writing half email here, you want to write that half email complete on a computer. So you just take it from here and put it back over there. In older days, the newspaper editor used to do like that. They cut something from one newspaper, they cut something from another article, they join together. So I said, we can do document editing the same way. Even we can change that information. Right? So this thing keeps going on and on. And a lot of other applications started coming. The card shows you that how much money actually you have in the card. Why not? Right? Even your last stroke, it shows you that how fast you hit the tennis rackets. Because now information is dynamic. In US, a lot of people want to know how much calorie you consume already in the day. So this is your third coffee of the day, don't drink more. Even I remember my days in Palanpur when monsoon comes, rain comes, we use bicycle and splash the water because it's fun. It's fun. It's you are as a kid, you are going around with the water inside the bicycle. So I say I will do the virtual splashing now. All this thing keep going on, and different applications started coming. When I was in Japan, I started using my this device because I was vegetarian. So I said I don't want to use something which has some people are non-vegetarian food, and it's written over there, but it's written in Japanese, which I cannot read. So what I did is, whenever I hold something in supermarket or anywhere, it shows me that is it vegetarian or not. And that's a simple application for myself. I keep doing all this new technology. Even it shows you that, oh, you have to take this medicine at 2:30, next dose is that time. Or even your regular shoes, it shows you how much miles or how much kilometers you run because it can project on your shoes or anywhere that you are looking at. This thing keeps happening and happening. If I tell you that whatever you see in the beginning, the helmet with the projector, with the camera, it's become of the size of a coin right now, you'll not believe, but it is. The whole thing is now become as small that you can put as a button. And that's what I was excited about. From very beginning I knew that. Right now it's big, right now it's heavy. Even it heat up, in Boston it was good because I'm not sure you know, Boston is very cold. So it was making my head area warm. So it's nice and fun. But then this technology becomes smaller and smaller, and right now is the size of the coin. So now you can actually wear this device. And anyone noticing some of the similar technology started coming in Google Glass. Olympus is making similar technologies, and we are using all those patterns that we are working on. And to be very proud about this particular part, I come from Palanpur. I come from, in some case, a developing world. I've seen people need of the technology. I didn't want to sell this particular invention to a big corporation that can make just money around that. I wanted to make use of this technology by everyone in the world. So I said it's free. Anyone can use that technology. Anyone can take my software code and make whatever you want to make out of that. And I will just give you one example. There are 25,000 people working right now using this technology on their own problems in Brazil, in South Africa, in some distant village in China. But one of the examples which I want to show you today, this person, his name is David. David cannot speak. David, from very beginning, his childhood, he cannot speak. He does sign language in front of him to talk to people. The problem is that I cannot understand sign language. What this device does is a sixth sense device, different kind of sixth sense device. He removed the projector from the sixth sense and replaced that with a speaker, just a $2 speaker. Now what this device does, David does a sign language, particular sign language to tell someone. The camera look at that sign language, understand what he is talking about, and convert that into words and sounds to the person. This is fifth sense, missing fifth sense for him in some cases. And I think that's the power of the technology. Technology that can reach to masses, that's the real technology. It's not, there is no meaning of making people's life better and better all the time, which life is already better. We also need to help 2/3 of the other world population, which requires the power of the technology. So these are some of the examples. And many big corporations also started taking inspiration. Microsoft acknowledged me on this vision video saying that most of the work that we are doing for the future videos is taken from your work. Product scenarios. Even later I started working and putting this particular technology into glasses-based devices. So now you are seeing Google Glasses and other glasses system coming. So what I am showing you is a very early version. This was in 2011, where I had a fully augmented reality glasses. So my wife Ija actually was using that device. You can, that time it was bigger because the technology was not mature enough to make it small. But what she's seeing, she's reading a magazine, and on that magazine it automatically shows that what is the price of this thing. She can in fact buy that thing. So I want to see more details about that. And that's what the power of the technology, augmented reality technology, in 2011 I invented, and now is going on a lot of other products. It's keep going on and on, and now I will tell you real magic. Many of you have seen some of this early work, but for last several years, I thought of something more. It is still in work in progress, so it is still half work, but I want to show you today some of the work. What happens that virtual world, the pixels, the smartphones, we can see virtual things. Like for example, if I turn on my smartphone, you can see some data. It's pixel, 2-dimensional. I wanted to somehow move that thing out from the smartphones. And that's where the next big thing, the next medium that I was talking about in the beginning comes from. So now what I'm showing you is a collaboration work with MIT Media Lab and some other friends of mine. With some colleagues in MIT that why can we not actually have physical things moving? What happens that if I put this particular remote, this is a remote, I put it over here, this remote will not fly. Newton taught us gravity and this will always stay on the stage. But then I thought magician make it fly, magician make it things in the air. So we started working on this particular aspect and that's what I am showing you now today. This was a very early version also of that device. That's a real ball. A person which is miles away, some other continent, is extending his hand and playing with that ball. As I just mentioned that Newton said that the gravity-wise object still cannot fly in the air. But in real world, we can make it happen. And that's what the next project I'm going to show you over here. That's a metal ball.
Xeron is a physical and digital interaction element that floats and moves in space by computer-controlled magnetic levitation. Both the computer and people can move the Xeron in 3D space. Xeron's movements can be digitally manipulated. For example, human gestures can be played back or rescaled in a physical form. A complex physics system, such as a free body problem, can be simulated in front of you as a physical reality. It lets you directly put your hand into this 3D simulation space to manipulate its configuration in a tangible way. You can also change the orbit of a revolving planet, which will then change the velocity, confirming Kepler's law. Using the Zeron as a sun, you can simulate lighting up your own world on a small scale. Or create 3D camera paths for rendering virtual scenes of architecture models using Zeron as a camera. When you draw a 3D path in the air and release the Zeron, it is sent back to its initial position and then moved along the previously recorded 3D trajectory. A Hall sensor measures the position of Zeron every few milliseconds, and the electromagnetic repels or attracts Zeron based on their distance.
That makes things fly in the air. But this thing doesn't stop there, because here you still need
this levitator
magnets,
is carried,
and you still need metal only. You can only use metals over here. We thought, why can we not use any objects, plastics or even wood? So myself and a friend in Tokyo University, Professor Jun Rekimoto's team, started working on a completely new kind of technology that we think will change the future of levitated objects. And this is in a very early stage. So now what you're seeing is any object in air. So how is it happening that in 1975 the standing wave equation started coming using the ultrasound, like the sound that we cannot hear, right, in particular. This particular kind of wave can make an object in air because there is a two wave which is propagating to each other. So now he's putting an object and it's really staying in the air. So I can leave this remote over here, it will stay there. Not as of now, but what is happening that an array of ultrasound speakers in some cases are around this particular area. So when you put an object over there, the ultrasound waves in different areas where you can put any object, sand. So I'm taking a dry ice which can show the propagation of this particular kind of waves passing through that thing. So if you drop some particular component, they are staying in the air.
Wow.
And this is taken by 4,500 frames per second camera, fast camera, we call it. And not only that, you can put any kind of material now, not only metal. You can put a Mistry or coin. You can also control them where you want them. Of a matchstick, the front part of the matchstick. It's a big piece of plastic. Even water. So this is a water drop. And you can put multiple water drops in the air wherever you want them. And you can move them. Recently I started working with sensors. I become the head of the Samsung research, where my role is to think about future product for Samsung. And as Raji mentioned that I was able to launch this product.
Come in, Chief Quimby.
Yes. What time is it?
8:29.
Thank you. Sarai. This is 86 reporting into control. How's it going? I have an emergency situation.
Relay the information to headquarters.
Interrupted. Order the ship's computer line records.
Jason, can you read me?
I read you.
This is Secret Agent Rock Slash.
Pronounce Nicholas Tactical ourselves. Anything particular in mind?
The atomic puncher.
There's only one man who can get us out of here in time.
I'll be down right away. I'm on my way.
We're on our way.
I'm on my way.
my way.
So this is Samsung Galaxy Gear. There are a lot of interesting features. I will not go through all the features and stuff, but you can simply say that I want to take a picture. I just took a picture of you all. It takes 2 seconds to take a picture. Even videos, you can take HD videos on this device. You can even start directly taking your phone calls like that. I don't need to actually get my phone out from my pocket. If someone calls me, I can just say, hello, how are you doing? I can seriously directly talk. There's a lot of future products is going to come this year that I have worked on, but unfortunately I cannot disclose them as of now. So I wish all of you will look forward for that product. I launched this device in Berlin in IFA. There's an international fair happens that all the launching happens, along with some other products. One thing I want to again recapture, that how to invent, the question that I asked in the beginning. Is it an accident, inspiration, or reason, or something like that? I say it's about magic. A lot of people ask me, what is the recipes or formula for that? And I think I can very well say that the recipes actually come from my education in Vidyamandir. And that motto, that statement that we have sung every day, PLAN, PLAN, PUR, we are the boys of Vidyamandir, we are the girls of Vidyamandir. Better every day. I will leave you guys with one last statement that I love a lot.
Right.
Einstein has said that the world that we have created is the product of our thinking. And it cannot be changed without changing that thinking itself.
Wow, amazing, magical, incredible. I don't have many adjectives to describe what we have seen today. So thank you so much, Pranav, for this inspiring talk. We are completely charmed and awed by your amazing journey and innovations. Of course, while I have some questions for you to understand you a bit better, I'm sure and the audience will also ask you a few questions. So let me straight away begin. Let's start from Vidyamandir. Any special memories of Vidyamandir? Do you think your education in Gujarati medium posed any difficulties for your further studies and work? Were you intimidated settling down in USA, coming from a small town of Palanpur? How was that experience?
I think I would say rather the learning in Palanpur, even the language. I don't think language is a barrier. Everyone in the world comes from different language. They have their own mother tongues. People in China coming from Chinese, and then Brazil coming from Brazilian. I came from Gujarati, but I had this big vision, and the learning that I had, the art, the design, the drama, the fun that we had in Vidyamandir, that learning was much more powering than anyone in the world in some sense. And that's what I'm saying, that I'll be born again in Vidyamandir only because of that learning. So language become hindrance at different places, but that's a small thing. I think that thing can be taken over, taken power or something else, other thing. One example was that when I first went to MIT, I of course knew English because I studied in IIT that time. But my advisor was not able to talk to me because her English was American English and I was speaking Indian English in some cases. But I think that's a small thing. It's a one thing is good because she cannot bully me in some cases. By the same time, for me an opportunity to learn a different kind of English language in some cases. So I always take any challenges comes as an opportunity, because if there is a challenge, then only you can grow yourself. So as of now, I learn a lot of languages. I now know Chinese in some cases because I interact with my in-laws or something like that. So it's so much fun.
Okay, so Pranav, you have achieved so much at such a young age. Who or what has been your inspiration? Any role model? Who or what has been your driving force?
I would say in particular, I don't have one person that be my role model. The one thing that I learned in Vidyamandir is echoes what I call Leonardo da Vinci approach. Leonardo da Vinci, as many of you know, was not only an architect, he was not only a biologist, he was not only a designer or artist or scientist, he was all of that. He knew science, he knew design, he knew biology, and that's what I think Vidyamandir cultivated me is all about. Vidyamandir didn't make an engineer or a student who only knows science or maths or something like that. I very well remember even my teachers are there. We used to go to science fair and become the first in that. With my sports teachers, we went 6 times state level ping pong competition. And I never imagined that, no one imagined that a small town of Palanpur would be the #1 ping pong player in this whole Gujarat. So there was... And I carry on what learning that happened there. To be proud to in the same line, the table tennis. After even going to MIT, I become the whole North England region champion of ping pong, table tennis. And it was hard for me to explain them that I learned that in George Pitt's club of Palanpur. So I feel that the Leonardo da Vinci approach was one of my inspirations. So many people ask me that, where do you get these ideas from? Where do you think about? Like, who is your guru in something? And I say that, who else? Nature. Because nature teaches us everything that we are knowing right now. There is not a single technology that anyone can claim that they invent that technology. A camera or aeroplane or you name it. Nature has done it much better and much smaller and much innovative way than you can ever think of. So nature is always my inspiration or always become my guru.
So we all, talk about this success and what you have achieved, and you're very successful. But in your mind, what is the definition of success, Pranav? And how do you measure up to that definition?
Thanks for this question. I think I also discuss a lot with a lot of people about this particular aspect. And I think I will ask question back to the audience in this case. If I ask that, do you remember, give me 5 people name who are popular because they were rich and they are not alive. Well, we don't know, right? We remember right now who are the richest person right now. People don't remember money in some cases. But we remember Gandhi, we remember Mother Teresa, we remember Tagore, we remember designers, we remember those people who made changes to people's lives in some cases. So for me, the success is, I think money and all this kind of thing, people will not remember after we go back. But the impact that I will make to the people's lives is my success rate. If the person standing in that Borivali station, he is able to type in Marathi, that's my success rate, I think. And that's what I would measure myself. Yeah, the David is in myself, my success, you can say, success story.
Super. So, Pranav, in this entire journey so far, I'm sure, there have been there could have been some failures. You thought of doing something, but it didn't work out, and you were disappointed, rejected, so on and so forth. So please share with us how you dealt with such failures, and how did you keep your motivation alive, to pursue the same. What has been the most the biggest failures so far?
I think failures are not negative. So many people think failures are negative. I completely take it opposite in some cases. Why, I will tell you. I showed you today like almost 20 or 15 projects, 15 work of my, 15 invention in some cases. This is not the only work that I did. I did 500 work. Out of that, only 15 got successful. That's why I'm showing you that. That those other ones that I didn't show you, those are my bigger successes than this. Why? Once I fail once, that will stay with me whole of my life. That learning that I failed here, I will not do this thing again. And that's what the biggest learning of the life. So I take failures as more success in my life.
So what next, Pranav? Any personal, professional goals? In the next 4 or 5 years, what do you think you'll be doing? Any unfinished business or any ambition?
So I'm very agitated always in some cases. Sometime in design field, sometime I'm academic field. I'm teaching in Harvard sometime. At the same time, most of the time you can see me playing on a table tennis table sometime. I personally think that wherever I can make impact to people's lives, I will be there next. Even right now I joined industry with the one goal, that I will bring that magic that I was dreaming in Palanpur somehow not only to MIT or some educational institute, but whole of the world. Why can it not reach to in some villages in Africa or even in India or somewhere else? Why can we not make life better by really making better products? So that's what my goal is, that making impact. So whichever way, I might be writing books or maybe acting in a movie, I don't know, I'm just keep saying whichever way I can make change to people's lives and leave that mark after I leave. So that would be my next stop.
So, I have one question which would say that how this technology you think will help India, in healthcare, education. Do you think India can be transformed using the technology?
So, at the very beginning of my presentation, I was showing you that information technology is not 50-year-old field. Agriculture also was a technology. We organized planting. We started doing organized planting, and that's we call it farming. We stopped the water and started irrigation system. We call it dams, and those are also technology. India has seen the power of the technology. All of us are actually right now sitting here explaining each other. I came all the way from plane, and it's also a technology that we are now able to meet again back. So I feel that India requires a lot more than what we have as of now as a technology. And the youth of India is the key for that. I'm not sure all of you know, but in next 5 years, India will be the largest young population in the whole world. And that's our real power. The Vision 2020 of India, set up by a lot of people, is not going to be done by this generation or our generation, but it's going to be done by the younger generation that is now in schools in some cases. And I feel that that's what the Indian power should look for. We should look forward for that youth and provide them. And that's what Vidyamandir is doing in some cases, cultivating that thousands of the next Pranav, Mistry or next themselves in some cases. And that's what the power of India will bring us.
So, I think at this point in time, maybe I'll invite some questions from the audience. If anybody wants to ask any questions. There is. Okay, there is one.
Yeah, I think Pranav, what presentation you gave was fantastic. You intensified the visual sense, one of our visual senses to a great extent. What is happening for the other 4 senses, that is auditory senses, smell, taste and touch? Can you elaborate a bit upon that, please?
Definitely. So, as I mentioned that in one of my projects also, we are exploring what are the other modalities of humans, like other than the touch or other than the even visual, we can explore. But it's a biological point of view also. Visual sense actually dominates 75% of our other senses in total case. There is speech or hearing is the next one, that big one that people are trying to focus on. So you might be noticing that I can really directly talk to this device and ask that, what's the weather today? And it will definitely tell me that weather is this much Celsius degree. So I think that's the next big wave which is going to happen. After that, the senses and the smell, those are a very personal thing, because when I touch in a computer or on a smartphone one button, let's say I press this thing, everyone is going to touch that button. The way they touch doesn't matter. If I touch this way or someone like just use this particular part or thumb, doesn't matter, because they are after all that part. But in other senses, how you speak, how you use other senses, those personalization methods makes a lot of difference. And that's what the research is going on. So I can only say that all this research are in academic field, and one of the best one that we actually didn't mention in that one is brain. Why we actually need to even talk to computer? Why we even need to press this button? Our brain can directly say that I want to do this thing, and automatically does that. And we already started working on that, and I would not say the next, maybe next 5 years, and we don't need all this other interface. We can directly communicate with our brain that what we want to computers.
Don't tell me if you start reading everybody's mind. That will be a problem. Take a couple of more questions.
Yeah. Hey, Hey, Pranav. We liked your presentation. Sixth Sense was awesome. But actually, based on what you just said right now with the brain's interface, do you think wearables are just the next step to implants, using your software and sort of merging it within our body? I know it's far-fetched, but is that the next logical step in your opinion?
Good question. So, the field that you are mentioning, that in technical term we call it augmented human. So what is happening that we are actually augmenting ourselves, even regular glasses, like even our reading glasses. It's augmenting you because your eyes cannot see it very focused in a clear way. What we are doing, we are putting a particular kind of optics in front of that. Now you can focus your eye in some particular area. Same way, the wearable devices, wearing your wristband devices or even glasses-based devices or even implanting some particular kind of chips inside you. It sounds scary, but it's happening. I'm not sure that what is the adoption rate for putting technology inside you, silicon inside your body is the right way or not. But I don't think that that's a necessity. What is going to happen, that I was talking about the brain-computer interfaces. We can definitely measure what your brain is thinking about without even passing through your skin. You don't need to implant something inside your body. You can just put near this area and you can see what is happening around it. And even your eye blinks. I was able to very much precisely notify the eye blinks by looking at the skin changes, the transplant changes. So our body expresses a lot of things outside. You don't need actually to move all the way inside in order to understand what is you are thinking. So current implants and all these technologies are just research stage. They are doing that because in order to understand how our body works better in some cases. But the ultimate goal of augmented human is how technology and human become one in some cases, right? So that's what the new trend, next 10 big trend will come next 10-15 years in some cases.
It's truly inspirational to see you still running at 100 miles an hour in your innovation. Actually, a couple of questions. I mean, India is really going through a challenging time in the last 5 years. Do you see specific, tangible technology solutions to kind of help get it out of its current position?
I think interesting question. I personally feel that, I'm sure that you know that India has skipped computer age. India is directly mobile age. A lot of people in India, specifically in rural India, they haven't used computer ever, but they directly started using smartphones and mobile phones. And that's actually an interesting trend. Why? There's an opportunity over here. What is happening that in our smartphones, in our everywhere, even touch devices, we are using QWERTY keyboard. So I can explain you what is QWERTY keyboard. The keyboard that we use to type, the start Q, W, E, R, T, Y. Why not A, B, C, D, E, the way we actually know, right? Because in older days, the typewriter used to be in QWERTY fashion. Two reasons. So that you can use your all 10 fingers, and whenever you type something, the two metal things doesn't get stuck to each other. What happened that it become passed to generation, and now the Western world cannot forget that the keyboard should be always in QWERTY layout. Even in touchscreen we use QWERTY keyboard. And that problem India doesn't have, because we are fresh. It's like a kid's mind. We can imagine anything. Right? You can make this bottle fly, say, oh, this is an aeroplane, this is not a bottle. Right? And that's what I think the India should take advantage of. The next wearable technology, the sixth sense, can be a first digital device for so many Indians in some cases. And that's where the new opportunities and new challenges starts coming. And to your question, the next 5 years, I think the spread of the technology, spread of network in some particular cases, spread of the connectivity, which was promised to us last 15 years, that should be the next big thing that will make all of us connected in some cases. Not only the Gram Panchayat or some government computers, but I think every farmer, every single person is somehow connected to that cloud, the data, the information, then that will be the power changing thing.
Hi. Yeah. You just mentioned that technology is inspired by nature. Do you believe that the same technology can actually hurt nature at all?
Very nice question. So, and in fact, I very much echo you in this one. So, I'm not sure that many of you are aware of that, but the big trend of the global warming is happening everywhere. Right? And very sadly, one thing I will tell you, whenever the global warming, the biggest effect will start coming, there is one island in Pacific Ocean. The footprint of carbon emission from that island is zero. There are 10,000 people lives in that island. They never made any kind of carbon emission, any kind of nature pollution or any kind of thing. But when global warming will start showing its bad effects on us, that island is going to go in water the first. And that is really sad. That is, we are all responsible for that. Those people, so that we don't think that this globe is our home. In India, we never make things dirty in our home. We keep cleaning. 2 times a day we keep cleaning our home. The earth is also our home. And I think the technology is even the trend, the pace of the technology is making it worse and worse. So even I can take blame on me also in some cases. Every 6 months we are launching new and new devices. And that's what the big new project that I'm starting in Samsung. I was talking to the very upper hierarchy of Samsung. And I told them, I really want to somehow reduce the carbon footprint or any kind of effect of our device. How can we make it green? How can we make it better? So, and that's what the big trend of the technology should be in some cases. So I feel that it's responsible to all of us. And with the progress, even same in China. China made a lot of progress, but at the same time at the cost of a lot of pollution in the same case. And India is now no different in this case. So it's all of us our responsibility to keep our home, the globe, the earth, Mother Nature somehow clean in some cases. I don't think that when we came as human we came here, we are not alone here. There are a million other species lives on this planet also. We sometimes behave like that this is only we and the only human lives in this planet. And I think that's a very wrong thing in some cases. So I will definitely echo with you that somehow all of us need to act. And Vision 2020 of India actually mentions a lot of these things. So I'm really proud about that particular part.
Hello. Hi.
Ultrasound technology that you mentioned, is it possible to use it to carry objects so it can be used in the future?
Good question. So I think the limit of the ultrasound, that levitating technology is right now still in work in progress. What is happening that we are able to right now make lightweight objects, let's say 5 grams or 10 grams objects flying in the air in some cases. There is no limitation that we cannot make heavier object move in the air. The only limitation that right now exists is the transducer. The producer of that particular ultrasound, it doesn't exist because no one actually needed those particular kind of things to move a human body or something like that. And I'm sure that there might be so many challenges that will come on the way, but as I mentioned before, the challenges will bring new opportunities. We might find something else in that process of finding moving heavy objects.
So you think, Pranav, teletransportation of human being is possible?
So, a lot of people ask me this question, and even like 2 days before when I was in IIT, TechFest was going on. Asia's largest science and technology festival. Also, the same question was from audience. I told them that in my laboratory, there was one old and knowledgeable person. He told me one thing, actually. He himself told me one thing that, Pranav, sometimes some very old knowledgeable person tell you that this is possible in future. He's right. But if the same person, some other day about some other technology or other thing, he tells that this is not going to happen in future, he might be wrong. So the point that I'm trying to make over here that there is nothing impossible. We cannot, because once you dream it, if I can dream it, I already finished the 50% of the work, right? Now you just have to realize that. And to be very precise and to be very scientific in this case, I did research. Last year published one interesting research paper. They were able to pass one atom, particular one atom, from one continent to another continent by teleportation, one atom. And they say that right now, for them, next 2 years, they can only pass this one atom. But that's a good beginning, right? Yeah. We are made of atoms in some cases. If there is a billion atoms, in the future they can pass together, then will be teleportation. You don't need to go to the airport and have it laughing in some cases.
Go through the security.
Hello, Pranav. Sorry.
One second.
Just 1 second. Yeah, so I think the medical science, not my work, but there is a lot of people who are working very actively to make human life better and better, somehow not only solving the disease problems or any other kind of problems, but they are trying to make that how can we human live longer, or not only that, but helping the other part of it. For example, a lot of people are dying in poor countries because of lack of nutrition, so lack of resources in some cases. And somehow biotechnology can help definitely those people. So that trend, not by my work, but there's a lot of other knowledgeable scientists are working on that too. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. What are the effects of all the technologies that you have worked on, the ones that you spoke of, on the human body, on general human health?
So many of the time we actually over worried about technology affecting human body. Like I can tell you, there is a myth about that. Oh, if you put your smartphone near your part, your heart doesn't work nicely. Those are all myths. These are all wrong things. So don't worry about those things. So many of this technology, whenever we invent something, in beginning stage it might be dangerous to human, but then we actually ensure by launching any products or anything, we ensure that that is really safe for human body because those things have to be. So most of the work that I showed you today, all of these are really safe for any human body or anyone around them. So there is no wrong effect of the technology on the human body as per now.
Pranav, I'm truly fascinated by your story. Technology fascinates me, so your story is fascinating. But I think what is even more fascinating in your story is that you seem to be the closest to Palanpur while you are the furthest from Palanpur. You live in Silicon Valley, but you are the closest to Palanpur. I just want you to understand that while you went away so far geographically, what was the impacts from your family to let you go this far? You hail from a family business. We all here are from a family business. But to a great degree, at many moments in time, when you have to let your child go away from the family business, it is not easy. How was this possible for you?
I think it's a great question, and I really wanted this question. So one thing I can proudly say, and I can really say that Palanpur, one of the things that comes with Palanpur is our Gujarati saris. And I can bet in Gujarati ghazal, none of in this audience can beat me. I must be knowing most of the Gujarati ghazal that all of you cumulatively know.
It calls for one shade here. Anything you would like to say?
Okay, if time permits, then I will say something.
Yeah, please.
મોરલાની પાંખ જેવું સુંદર, ગુલાબની પાંખડી જેવું કોમળ, હરણની આંખ જેવું ચંચળ, બચપણ જાણે હેતની રેતની જેમ હાથમાંથી સરકી ગયું છે. વસ્તુ જગતને ત્રાજવે, બાળપણને સાહેબેથી જોખી, ખરીદવાના સ્વપ્ન જોતા આપણે અચાનક જાગીને બોલી ઉઠીએ છીએ. ઘરની સગડી વસ્તુ મરી ગઈ, બહુ સોના છે ઘરના ખૂણા, શાંત ઉભા છે દ્વારના પડદા, બંધ પડ્યા છે મેજના ખાના, રોઈ રહ્યા છે સગડા રમકડા, સ્વચ્છ પડેલી ભીંતો ઘરની લાગે જાણે વિધવા થઈ ગઈ, બિસ્તર કેરી ચાદર જાણે બાળવિહોણી માતા થઈ ગઈ, આખો દી દરિયા ખાને બસ માથે લઈને ફરતો તો, વસ્તુ ઘરની ઉલટી સીધી હું અમથી અમથી કરતો તો, પેન લખોટી ચાકના ટુકડા ખિસ્સામાં હે ભરતો તો, જૂના પત્તા રેલ ટિકિટને મમતાથી સંઘરતો તો, કોઈ દિવસ મેં શોધી નહોતી તોય ખુશીઓ મળતી હતી, લાદી ઉપર સૂતો તોય આંખો મારી ઢળતી હતી, કોણે આવા સુંદર દિવસો બચપણમાં હે બીઠાતા, ખડખડ વહેતા ઠંડા જળમાં છબ છબિયા મેં પીધાતા, મારા હાથે મારા કપડા ભીંજવી મેં તો દીધાતા, સાગર કેરા ખારા પાણી કંઈક વખત મેં પીધાતા. અને આજે જ્યારે બચપણ છીનવાઈ ગયું છે, સોના થયેલા ખૂણા સામે વિહવળ થઈને નિરખું છું, શાંત ઉભેલા પડદાને હું મારા ફરતે વીંટું છું, ઘરની સગડી ભીંતોને હું હળવેથી પંપાળું છું, ખોવાયેલા વર્ષોને હું મારા ઘરમાં શોધું છું, ક્યાં ખોવાયું બચપણે મારું ક્યાંકથી શોધી કાઢો, મીઠા મીઠા સપનાઓની દુનિયા પાછી આપો, મોટર બંગલા લઈ લો પાછા ને લઈ લો વૈભવ પાછો, પેન લખોટી કાચના ટુકડા મુझने પાછા આપો, પેન લખોટી ચાકના ટુકડા મુझने પાછા આપો, હા મુझने પાછા આપો. Continuation to that question that you asked me, family. I think I cannot be more luckier than to be born in this family. The environment that has been provided, my parents, the love that I had for my sisters, the learning that we had in family is immeasurable. You cannot compare that. One very good example I will tell you. When I was a kid, I used to come to Mumbai because my grandma lives in Mumbai, in Tardeo. And I used to see the kids around here in this time, they got a video game. It's called Atari. Right? Atari video game. I go to their homes of my dad's friends and other people, kids are playing this video game, Atari. And like every kid, I also cried. I also want this Atari. Right? I really need this thing. Somehow give me this thing. As a kid, you need jig. My family was not that rich enough that they can afford whatever requirement that I asked for. And I don't think if I say them thank is possible. There is no way I can pay back the thing that I have got back from my family, the learning. When I went back to Palanpur that summer, my dad, he himself made a video game using electronic components and gave it to me. And to be very precise, the whole world was playing video game, Atari, a box. They don't know what is happening around here. I was the only kid in the whole world. There are some wires and cables and electronic components, and I'm playing, play, don't touch here, otherwise you'll get shocked. But I'm knowing that, what is that happening behind that I'm playing games? So my learning of things was happening right there. And that kind of culture that I have got from my when computers were 90,000 rupees in those days, I'm talking about in 84 and 85 and 86. In that much rupees you can run the 2 years of the whole family. My dad bought a computer in home. He knew that this is much more valuable than spending money on a car or something else in that cases. The learning that will happen to me or to my sisters, that's the kind of environment that I received. And as I mentioned, there is no possibility of me in any way, in this life or next 15 lives, to pay back what I have received, what are the environment that I have received to my family. So that's why I'm not even trying.
Hi Pranav. After that Shairi, I would definitely like to know what kind of a processor RAM and hard disk space you have in your brain. I mean, I want to know what motivates you and what you get your inspiration from. You just throw some light on that.
So I think even in my presentation I mentioned the battery every day. So a lot of people ask me that, what do you compare yourself? Because you are good at this thing, but you are different in this thing, the thing is a little bit different over here. So I said that every day when I wake up in the morning, the only quest, the only thing that in my mind is, how can I be better than what I was yesterday? Right? Because if I compare myself that what I was before, how can I be a little bit better? That's what I keep doing. And I think that's what
Hi Pranav. Hi. Of course, fantastic presentation. Your Shairi kind of took me back into my childhood. But I'm coming back to your work per se. You've talked so much about augmenting the human senses, in terms of speech, vision, everything, right? What about your idea on augmenting the device itself? Not for the human senses, but say for example, can you think of since you're in the work of making tablets, like maybe a tablet with a beating heart, or a tablet that kind of, if it has some sort of a bad news to convey, dull goes dull or something like that. Has any work on that sense happened in your research?
So I think it's a big trend in technology which is going to come. Right now what is happening that whenever we design something, whenever we make, let's say a smartphone, Galaxy S3, S4, what happens that right now if you go to your home, if you open that office drawer, you will find a lot of old phones. The Nokia device was there and some other old device. We no longer use them because they become old. They're still working, but it doesn't apply to my current standard of what I'm doing right now. As human, we become more and more mature. We become better every day. When I was a kid, even the size-wise, I was small. I become bigger and bigger, my body grows and my thinking grows, all this thing happening. So there's a trend going on that how can machines actually grow? Because that's the natural way to think about. Because in a tree, when a tree grows, you just start with a small seed and it starts growing and thinking about it. So the next generation of the devices, there's a big thinking right now happening that rather than launching every year new devices, how can devices can augment themselves? Like why we are running away with older devices, we would put it away because now they are not fast enough. But how about they can become fast on their own, they can learn themselves. Rather than me always learning computer, but computer cannot learn about me. So it knows that this time I am going to office and my mood is not good, so it should not ring. Right? So computer can start understanding humor in some case. Because we are learning always about computer, and if a new computer comes, we again need to learn new computer, new technology, Android came, so now we need to learn Android. This another thing came, we need to learn another thing. Why? Because we can make machines that can start learning us and make our life better and better. And I think that's the next trend will come definitely.
Thank you. One last question.
So, very good question, and I think I will take it in a positive way in some case. So, a lot of people ask me that why, like even in India, a lot of people, even government people, even a lot of people say, why don't you help India more and more? I always help India more and more. I think Copernicus has said very nicely that give me a stick, give me a big stick, and give me a place somewhere standing outside of the world, and I can show you, I can move the world just by that stick. So it's not necessary for us, for me specifically, for me a villager, a farmer in Brazil which needs the technology is as same as the person in Middle East who is required the technology, who is dying because of the technology. It's as same as in Kerala. So for me, I personally think that I would counteract on that. I would say that those 400 million Indians who are needing the technology needs me right now here, not the people who already have their life better. Those 200 million Brazilians also need me in some case, because I don't think that the poor person, as I mentioned, our home is not only India, our home is not only Palanpur, our home is the globe earth. If the whole globe will not survive, then India will also not survive. Right? We need to help all the 2/3 of the world that requires the power of the technology. And that's what I am doing.
Pranav? We don't have time for many questions. So I'll take your question in the front.
Thank you. Where do you see gesture recognition helping education, e-learning? Because there are so many villages, you don't have schools, you don't have laboratories. I think gesture recognition will be a big help out there.
Definitely. I think gesture recognition technology that not only will help e-learning but many other things. For example, people, day before yesterday when I was in IIT, a blind person, blind student of IIT actually asked me this question that right now I cannot see because most of our devices are visual devices, right? And I cannot interact because I don't know how to touch, but I can do gesture that I like this thing, I didn't like this thing, move to the next somehow, and it hears back. So the gesture interaction and gesture, any kind of gesture technology is going to change our interaction with computer. In why? Because gesture is the universal language. When we say something in Gujarati, we say something in English, we say some other language. Now we need to teach computers one thing. What is the universal language of the world in some case? Gesture. That's a simple thing. Like I can say that I didn't like this, or just do this thing and move. Right? So that's what I think the real power of that gesture technology will start coming. E-learning, healthcare, governance, e-governance, a lot of places this technology will start powering. But the challenge is also there because the technology is mature enough to make that happen will take some time. And I'm not saying that we should be afraid of that time because that time is a progression. Because that time has a lot of other challenges that we will have to solve. Other problems will come on the way. So I would completely agree with you that gesture, speech, the new modalities of the way of doing things will be the next touch screen that we are thinking. 5 years before, we are not thinking that we will touch everywhere. When we are seeing a glass, a big sign of glass thing, we never touch it. But nowadays, kids, as soon as they see something, screen, they want to touch it. So that's what is going to happen with gesture, that is going to become the norm of every day.
Yeah, one last question I had. Pranav? Yes, sir. I actually obviously liked your presentation a lot. Like one specific scene that I saw was when you actually showed so one person wearing the 6th sense technology was actually looking at another person and he could see whether that person is a student or whatever. Yeah. So it's beautiful at the first instance, but when I think of it on second thoughts, it's kind of a breach of privacy which could act as a disadvantage. So what if you is there anything in your mind, some product which solves that problem also?
I had a question I thought maybe time didn't do it, but today in this world, with a lot of technology, I think the privacy is getting invaded. Everybody feels that. I just saw it on YouTube that you click a picture and if you email it, people know exactly where you are, from where you click the picture, and they can actually track you. So, is there a way? I mean, it's so wired now. Do you think about privacy is that a threat?
So I think privacy is a big concern. Not only the technological world, but there's a lot of government and any system right now are worried about those particular aspects. I would say that in school we learn that everything has two sides. A coin has a two sides, right? A technology which gives you so many things. At the same time, if you use it negatively, you can waste something else. And Einstein, we remember for E is equal to mc square. The same technology can give you so much power, the electric power that we are using every day, and the same technology can make Hiroshima and Nagasaki in some cases. Right? It is up to us, it is up to human, for us, that how we want to use that technology. If it's my approach, if I want to share that picture with someone, I am taking myself that step. And I completely respect that in some way the technology should help us to decide that I want to do this thing or not do that. So nobody is asking us to share on Facebook and Twitter every day. We are doing that because we feel more connected in some cases. But at the same time, we are also putting our privacy at some ease in this case. So I would say that as everything has two sides, it's up to us that when we toss the coin and when we want to have that particular flip in which direction. So that's what I think only thing I can say in this case.
Just last question. I'll take this lady's question and that's it. I'm sorry. They're running really awesome. Just last one.
It's just based on the thing what you said, two sides of the coin. So do you fear your inventions, technology being used in a wrong way, destructive way?
Yeah, so definitely. So I don't think the human mind is actually, in history taught us a lot of things that people can use good things in bad way even if you haven't never thought about that. Like we cannot avoid the possibility, 2% or 5% possibility that someone will misuse that particular part of something like that. But we try to ensure that it doesn't fall under someone's wrong hand in some cases. Very simple example, US government, when I was in MIT, come a lot of time to me, and specifically the defense department. I said, we want to invest in your technology and something like that. Similarly, Indian Army also came to me multiple times, and continuation to your point. I personally told them that I don't want to get involved in any technology that has anything to do with any kind of human killing or anything, even in the future also. So everyone sees in the same way, if everyone starts thinking that way, that would be great. Then we can make the world a better place. But from the land of the Gujarat, I learned that it's not going to happen that you tell everyone, do this thing, do that way, do that way. It's not going to happen. Gandhi taught us that be an example. If you do that, if people will like it, they will follow you. And that's the right way to do. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the right thing, and I will follow the right path wherever it's possible.
I think we are way past our time, and I reserve the last word, so I'm sorry. So in conclusion, Pranav, I just wanted to ask you one last question. That what do you want the world to remember you for?
I think, as I mentioned, I don't want the world to remember me. I don't think that people should. Of course, you guys are. Thanks a lot for all this, for the clapping and all this making me. The only thing that I want to leave in this world is not anything about me, but the impact that I make. I don't want people to remember me as a person. I want to make just their life better, immediately, even if they don't remember. That's what I'm saying, that the Borivali person who is standing on the thing, I don't want to tell him that I did this thing. He's happy, that's what I want. So, and of course, same way in Palanpur. Palanpur is giving me so much love. IIT is giving me so much love. I'm happy at the same time because I'm realizing I'm giving a lot of those kids, a lot of those new students, and hope that yes, we can also dream, and the dream will come true. That's the only thing that I think it's successful. I'm successful in that way. So, world should get advantage of whatever I'm doing, because world has given me a lot of things. It's my turn to return it back, and that's what I think. Yeah.
So on that note, I thank you, Pranav, on behalf of the Vidyamandir Trust, Palanpur Samaj Kendra, Palanpur Online, for coming here, sharing your experience and wonderful work you've been doing. So we truly appreciate it. Thank you for all what you have done today for us, spending the time, and keep up the good work. Thank you so much.